Welcome to Our Highest Work, a podcast where we are gathering and sharing the best ideas for spiritually based business success, and where we are gathering a global community of wise and loving mutual support. My name is George Cow, and in today's episode, I'm going to be sharing with you 5 simple but powerful strategies to find joy in your daily work and projects, whatever projects you need to do or want to do, whatever task is in front of you. Today's episode will give you those techniques to find the joy in those tasks. If you apply today's techniques, you will experience your work life will be dramatically upgraded, basically. You'll find what we've all been looking for in our work life, which is happiness and joy. And from that happiness and joy, you'll find that chances are you'll grow your income, you'll grow your ability to make a change in the world. So let's get going. As always, I like to start with a quote, an inspirational quote, and this one is from the book The Practicing Mind by Thomas Sterner, a book that I highly recommend, The Practicing Mind. And the quote goes like this: I once read an interview with a coach for the U.S. Olympic archery team. He commented that the biggest problem he faced in coaching the American team was that they were fixated on their scores or the result of their shots. It's as if they were drawing the bow and releasing the arrow only to hit the bullseye and earn a good score. This was in contrast to the Asian teams who, having grown up in different culture, were consumed in the process of properly executing the technique that led up to releasing the shot. Where the arrow hit the target was almost unimportant compared to the motion of drawing the bow and correctly releasing the shot. They viewed the result with an almost detached indifference. For them, the desired goal was a natural result of prioritizing the proper technique of drawing the bow. They operated in a completely different paradigm, and because of it, they were very difficult to beat. The minds of the Asian archers were quiet, uncomplicated, and free from mental turmoil. The irony was that when compared to the results-oriented Americans, the Asians were the ones who were winning. Now, U.S. sports psychologists are teaching our athletes, the U.S. athletes, to think along similar lines. Isn't that great? So that is really the first technique that I want to share with you. When you find joy in each task, in each moment, when you notice, and this is something that you can do with every single activity, and again, this is the first technique, right? Notice and find the enjoyment, the pleasure even, in every detail of the task. Now, this takes practice. So, for example, here I am speaking to you. I can find enjoyment in the fact that my vocal cords, as I feel my vocal cords being used and the vibrations there and the sound coming out of my mouth, I can notice the enjoyment in that. Now, I don't typically notice it, but as I'm talking about it and as I'm noticing it, I find enjoyment. I can noticing the enjoyment and the pleasure in my breath. I can notice the fact that, you know, I am using notes as I'm speaking this to you, and I can notice the enjoyment of the colors on the screen as they come out at me. Oh, I typically already put that into the background. I don't typically notice these things. But if for some reason I'm finding this particular task to be drudgery, I can start noticing, wow, look at the icons on my computer screen. Aren't they beautiful? Aren't they amazing? Aren't they enjoyable? Yes, they are, if I notice them. I can notice if I'm scrolling and looking at these notes, I can notice the joy of the fact that I can touch my trackpad and just move my fingers a little bit and the thing scrolls. Isn't that miraculous? whatever task. Oh, and then I'll give you another example. Let's say that I am doing something, a chore around the house that I don't enjoy. I'll give you an example. I was cleaning up a mess that my one of my cats made this morning. He apparently ate something he wasn't supposed to eat, and he, he threw it up on the carpet. So it was not pleasant. I was afraid that the carpet would be stained, but I had to clean it up. So I don't enjoy doing that particular thing typically, but as I did it, I was able to notice that as I ripped the paper towels to absorb the stain on the carpet, I noticed, wow, isn't it amazing that these paper towels manufacturers have made it so easy for me to rip this. I rip it, and as I wet the or as I use the paper towel to absorb the stain, I can notice the enjoyment of feeling the paper towel pressing against the carpet, the soft carpet, right? And I can notice the enjoyment of seeing that the stain is going away. I can notice the enjoyment of myself putting the paper towels in the bag, the fact that I have this bag that I can put it in, and a sprayer, a carpet cleaning sprayer that I have. I can, and then as I spray the carpet, I notice as I press it, it's so cool that the spray comes out so beautifully. I notice the details of it, and I enjoy that task, which I used to dread, and go, oh gosh, I could have complained and said, I can't believe my cat did this, Why is he going around eating this stuff? No, but instead I notice the details of the task, and I find enjoyment in it. So I challenge you, I encourage you today, whatever task you have to do, notice the details, the miraculous things that you are able to do with your hands, with your eyes. Find the gratitude within it and the pleasure within the small details of the task. So that's a first encouragement and technique that I have for you, is the joy in the details of each task. Just like earlier as I was talking about the archery, they were just focusing on the joy of holding the bow back and releasing it beautifully, gracefully. That's technique number one. Technique number two is to eliminate distractions as you work on whatever project it is. And guess what? Chances are you have more distractions when you are working than you need to have. More distractions that you are able to eliminate than you need to have. I will give you an actual example right now. For those of you who are watching the video, you'll be able to see my computer screen in just a moment. And those of you who are not watching the video, you can find the video at ourhighestwork.com/52, because this is episode 52. Okay, so what I'm going to show you right now is my computer screen, and let's say I'm working on this particular, I'm working on the notes for this particular presentation. And notice that there are some distractions here. Okay, first of all, notice that my Facebook is open. Usually my email is open as well, and I'm just gonna open my email just to have it open, because it oftentimes it's open, and what happens is when I have oh, okay, so right now I've cleared. Okay, there it is. You see, when my email is open, it shows me how many new messages that I haven't yet opened, and it says 1. I usually keep my email inbox to close to 0, if not 0, each day. So I'm pretty good about that. But right now it says 1. So it's like, oh gosh, I'm so curious what that one email is. So instead of clicking over and just even allowing myself to be distracted by having my email open, let me ask you, if you close your email software, you immediately stop a psychological drain on your energy, because it keeps subconsciously calling to you to want to open it. So I'm going to close this. I'm going to close my email software. Okay. Same thing with Facebook. Okay. And I'm going to keep this one open because I'm going to refer to this one a little bit later. But close your Facebook, because it'll tell you how many things you haven't yet read on Facebook that's available to you, notifications. So I'm going to close it. Okay. And then I'm going to show you this really cool tool called One Tab. Because one of the distractions that you have when you're working on your computer, especially when working with some kind of online tool, is a bunch of tabs open. The more tabs you have open, and just any tabs you have open beyond the one that you're currently working on, is a psychological and energetic drain on your focus. So there's a really great tool called One Tab, and if you just Google One Tab, it's the website is www.one-tab.com. One-tab.com. It's free, and it works in Google Chrome and also Firefox. So assuming you use one of those browsers, I highly recommend using Google Chrome. That's the one I use. Firefox is also good. So OneTab works on those two browsers. And so I've installed OneTab, and if you can see my screen, you can see it right here on my screen. And here's the check this out. This is so cool. I simply click this. Once I've installed it, it's free and easy to install. You go to one-tab.com to find out how to install it. I click on this, and instantly you see that all of them have been collapsed into one tab. You see one tab, and then this makes it much more easy for me to notice, do I really need any of these things I was looking at? If I don't need them, I simply click delete all. If I need a particular one, for example, I need the script to this particular talk, so I click this. So now I'm just looking at my script along with the one tab. And to make this even less distracting, one tab, I can right-click on the tab and click Pin Tab. Pin Tab, so now it's even smaller, right? And I'll show you a couple of cool things to basically make work. Okay, so I work in Google Docs a lot. And if you work in Google Docs, a couple of things for me to show you, well, one thing to show you is you can click on this to hide the menus. Okay, so that's a little bit better. And the other thing is on your Google Chrome, you can click on this thing. Okay, you can click on this icon on the upper right. Looks like an expansion icon on the upper right of Google Chrome. If I click this expansion icon, we'll put it into full screen mode. And that's, again, easier for me to work with. And further, I can make my Google Chrome even less distracting by right-clicking somewhere in the open space of this bookmarks bar, and I can click on instead of show bookmarks bar, I can uncheck that. So now it's hiding the bookmarks bar. So you see, I do little things like that to eliminate my distractions. And the other thing is, do you have audio distractions that come through, like your phone? You're getting text messages, or any other things on your computer that pings at you. Stop those pings. Okay. Also, visual notifications. Do you get a visual notification? Something pops up whenever you get a new email. Why are you doing that? Why do you need to be notified for every new email that comes in? Do you work in a nuclear power plant and emergencies come in via the email? No. It doesn't matter if you just check your email once an hour or once every 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 hours, does it? No, it really doesn't matter. So remove those visual notifications. Okay? All right. So with that, I'm going to stop my screen sharing and bring you back here. All right. So I'm hoping that was helpful for you. And so the third technique that I want to show you, and I want to get out of presentation mode here. The third technique I want to show you, that I want to share with you, is to take it in stages. Whatever project you find yourself feeling overwhelmed by, take it in stages. Whatever project you find yourself feeling frustrated by, take it in stages. Whatever project you are fearful of doing, take it in stages. And make the stages as small, as granular as you can, so that each step becomes really doable for you. So the first step here for taking it in stages is to clarify the granular steps, the tiny little steps for this project, whatever project you are fearing or feeling overwhelmed by or feeling confused by or procrastinating on, right? So open up a blank piece of paper or a blank document, okay, and write down the steps that you can think of for this project, whatever steps may be. Okay, so I'll tell you a recent project I have been procrastinating in, fearful in, overwhelmed by, is updating one of my web pages, my sales page, the page that sells my coaching program. I've been feeling fearful around that. So what did I do? I opened up a blank document on my computer. You could do this with paper if you prefer paper. I opened up a blank document, and I just started to write down what are all the steps I can think of to make that project doable. So I said, okay, So the first step is to really, for me to make a copy of my current page so I don't lose my current page's version. So in my website, that means another step, I go to my website editor and I go to that page and I click on copy page. So I write these things down in granular fashion so that every step becomes, oh, that's really doable. Take it in stages. Oh, another thing that I thought about when I thought about updating my web page is, oh my gosh, I have all these things I want to make different about that web page. I want to make it look so cool. I want to have different sections that look like this and look like that. And I got overwhelmed. And I said, take it in stages. I don't have to make all the updates in the world for this particular launch that I'm going to be doing. I can simply make, even if I make 10 changes, even if I make 2 or 3 major changes on the site, it will be much better than it was previously. Even if I make 1 major change for my sales page, it will be better than it was previously. Take it in stages. And then I'll make more changes for the next launch. Take it in stages. Okay? Another example, how do I launch my business? Open a blank document, write down all the steps you can think of. Okay? And I'll give you, if I were doing that, if I were you, right? The resource, I've already given you my resource for how to launch a business, and also how to build visibility for your business. So I would say step number 1, go to www.georgecal.com/map, M-A-P. Actually, you can use ourhighestwork.com/map, M-A-P. That goes to the same place. Ourhighestwork.com/map will give you my step-by-step framework for how to launch a successful business online and how to get visibility for your business, how to get more clients. All that stuff is all there for free. So step number 1, go there. Step number 2, take 15 minutes. So we're going to take it in stages. Take it in very, very doable and enjoyable stages. Take 15 minutes to look at the mind map. Step 3, take another 15 minutes and take 1 step of that mind map. And if that step of the mind map that you're going to take is too big, open a blank document, write down what the steps are to get that step done. Everything that you are overwhelmed by or feeling fearful of, take it in stages, which means you open up a blank document, write down all the steps you can think of. And if any particular step is fearful for you, write down what the smaller steps underneath that one is. Okay? Take it in stages. And one of the stages may be to find help, to seek support. Go to our online, Our Highest Work community and ask for help. Ask, what should I do next? Okay? So that's a step as well. And I love this Mark Twain quote by Mark Twain. The secret of getting started is breaking your complex, overwhelming tasks into small, manageable tasks and then starting on that first one. Okay? So I do this all the time, so I hope that you will practice this starting today. Anything you want to accomplish, you can accomplish if you take it in doable stages. You don't have to do it all this time. Do some this time, do some the next time. Whether it's do some this hour, do some the next hour, or do some of it today, do some of it tomorrow, or do some of it for this launch, do some of it for the next launch. Take it in stages. I hope that's helpful. All right, finally, the fourth, let's see here. Yes, the fourth technique I have for you is called green, yellow, red. And I'm starting to run out of time, so I will make sure to put, I have an actual blog post called Green, Yellow, Red that I will put the link in the notes that is connected to this episode. And the notes, by the way, for those of you who don't know, are always in either the YouTube video. You could scroll down and see the notes in the description area below the YouTube video, or if you go to our Facebook thread for this episode, the notes are going to be there as well. So green, yellow, red, the idea is, do you notice when in your day you go from green, which green is being in flow, being joyful, to going into yellow, okay, to going to red. Red is you are no longer in flow, you are feeling frustrated, you are tired, okay. Negative emotions or mental state is red. Yellow is the boundary between green and red. And I encourage you, starting today, to be more aware of when you are in green, which is a positive mental and emotional state, and when you are in red, a negative mental and emotional state. And notice the boundary, the yellow, because when you get to yellow, when you notice, when you practice observing when you are in yellow, is when you can become conscious and make a choice to go back into the green. Okay, and going back into the green has several activities. And again, I will give you the link to the blog post where you can see some of my activities. But the activities can simply be stopping whatever you're doing and taking 3 easy, deep breaths and bringing a gentle smile to your face. That simple task can bring you from yellow to green, or from red to back to yellow, and then you do something more to bring you back to green. Make sense? That's the 4th technique. The 5th technique, and the final technique I'll share with you as we close this episode, is to remember what this is all about. And but when I say all, I mean, what is life about? What is your work really about? Your work, whatever project or task you have in front of you, is actually a stage for you to practice the bigger picture of life, your true role, your highest work in life. And I believe our highest work in life, if I could define it for just a moment right now, is our highest work in life is to practice virtue and to find the joy in learning and practicing virtue in everything that we do. By virtue, I mean love, courage, faithfulness, humility, kindness, right? There are many other virtues, but virtues, being a good person, that's really what the bigger picture is, and finding joy in that. And also, an even bigger picture I'll share with you, my belief, is that everything is going to turn out brilliantly well for your soul, for your consciousness. It may not be in this life, but it will happen in maybe the next life or many lifetimes after that. But you will end up in a state of pure bliss and joy and creativity and understanding and love. So remember, it's all going to be okay. And whatever task is in front of you that you're feeling fearful in, confused by, overwhelmed by, it's just a stage for you to practice coming back to joy in noticing the joy of each moment, and to practicing becoming more courageous, becoming more faithful, becoming more persevering. And even the spiritual joy in learning those virtues is what we become to notice. And remember, how can we get spiritual joy? Is because we know that everything's going to be okay. And all of this is under control by the divine. And you are being protected and loved and guided beyond your wildest imagination. So with that, I close today's episode. And I welcome your comments and your questions. And if you wish to, you can put your comments or questions in at www.ourhighestwork.com/52, because this is episode 52. And just so you know, once you get there, ourhighestwork.com/52, I do prefer your comments in the Facebook thread if possible, because that's where I tend to check more often. And I'm always open to your feedback about this podcast. What's something I can improve on to make this podcast more interesting and more useful for you? Let me know at ourhighestwork.com. And until our next episode, remember that you are loved more deeply and in every moment, more than you can imagine. And because of that, until our next episode, keep your thoughts positive and keep your heart open. Be well.